Richardson, log entry 006, February 9th, 2163. The only thing they fear is him. We watched as the Horde overwhelmed the very best and most advanced machinery and weapons technology that we could muster against the opposition. It was useless. They moved too quickly. They cared not for themselves, only sought out the blood of humanity. They were willing to sacrifice their own to get to the heart of our world. We slaughtered thousands and millions more followed. But then he came. He cut through them like a sickle through a field. His fury surpassing their own. He is faster, more relentless. I believe him now to be more than just a man. He is doom.
Increase of demonic activity at the nexus of the initial invasion. That is the largest gore nest on Earth. I will set the portal coordinates for the super gore nest now.
You're on.
Ring, ring, ring. Hello, priest, and welcome back to Krown's magical Voldemort cave.
Voldemort cave? What the fuck? You've been watching too much Harry Potter. Well. Welcome back to Krown's Crypto Cave. It's a glorious Tuesday morning over here from Helsinki, Finland. Just caught up with a good old friend. Shout out to you if you're listening to this right now. It was good chatting. But more importantly, we have a lot to talk about on good old Bitcoin right now because Bitcoin is doing the old diving swan of death formation. Anyways, with that said, I would like to wish everyone a happy and healthy start to your Tuesday and a more sincere tone. I'm gonna take another sippy sip of this yerba mate. Oh, baby. It feels oh so good. Man, you Southern Americans, or I don't know, is it Southern Americans? No, South Americans. It's probably disrespectful. Maybe it's just Artinians. I don't know. You guys got a lot of things figured out. That yerba mate, you eat a lot of meat, and you got all the good stuff and more down around there, plus Spanish as well. Anyways, with that said, into the Krown chain application we go, of which we have a new update for you all. We have more new and more free quant information for everyone out there who decides to make an account. Or actually, you don't even need an account. You can just look at it if you want without an account. Anyways, with that said, what do we see on the Krown chain application that is of interest today? We do see, and this is oh so fucking bizarre right now. This is incredibly bizarre. Fear and Green Index has actually gone up. It's actually gone up from a 19 to a 24. Now, of course, we are still within the very, very fearful zone, but it's like people are less fearful now that Bitcoin's actually found a bit of a resolution in the, on this overall range. Bitcoin dominance still trending up as well, as we do see it hang around the 46 to 47% region. I would be looking for that to continue on the trend to the upside as long as Bitcoin is essentially moving here. No matter which way Bitcoin moves at this point, I do believe that it will be soaking up altcoins, and seeing as the downside has been the more recent direction, we're probably going to see most altcoins move more to the downside than Bitcoin in that equation, of course. Now, there will be some outliers here and there, I'm sure of it. Perhaps there'll be one or two that are going to be going to the moon and beyond while all this nonsense is going on here. But in general, most altcoins not going to be having the best day right here, right now. Anyways, into the market data tab we go, and let's see what we got going on right as of this moment. We do see global exchanges net flows continues to remain positive. So not only did we see this absolutely massive spike just a few days ago of about 28,000 Bitcoins being flown into exchanges. Why would they do that? Maybe to buy more leveraged altcoins? No, probably not. Probably to sell, maybe to protect themselves. And this is actually the biggest influx that we've seen quite literally since February, in fact, when we did really begin this sort of distributive phase, as Bitcoin did start to put in a top between, February and about May of this past year. Anyways, I see you over there. What's up, Mr. Josh? Oh shit, Mr. Patience himself, still waiting for my targets. I think you might just be in luck today, or not necessarily in luck. You might just be rewarded for your everlasting patience. You have the patience of a goddamn saint, and that is very, 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 very commendable. So what is going on right now that is of also relevance to current price action? Well, most importantly, open interest is now going up. And we pretty much are right at the prior highs, what we did see within the midst of this current consolidation. So I would say that this is probably going to lead into it, of course, but this is a good signal that we are going to see a sustained move under $30,000. Yes, there are potentials for traps, which we'll go over as well, but understand that the trend is your friend right now, and the trend has been your friend for a while, unfortunately, too, for the boolas out there. Anyway, it's very interesting to read a lot of the comments. It's very interesting to read a lot of the comments. For like the bears, I'm not bearish enough. For the bulls, I'm not. Well, I'm just not bullish, I guess. Anyways, funny rate is ever so slightly negative, but this is to be expected when we actually do have a resolution on the general trend here, of course. Anyways, moving on, I want to show you the new things that we just updated as of last night, in fact, and that would be in tab number 4 over here. We updated this to show GBTC holdings, of which you can see it's actually been pretty much flat ever since Bitcoin put in the high structure over here. I think that's worth keeping an eye on actually long term, because that is more of an easier way for the old timers, I suppose, people who are more familiar with traditional markets to kind of get their exposure into Bitcoin if they so desire. Hash rate chart over here, so we can actually look at this on a day-to-day basis in line with the hash ribbons indicator, of course, and then the whale ratio, which probably needs a little bit of explaining, of which, as always, you can explain all these indicators to yourself by just highlighting the tooltip, and it essentially tracks the relative size of the top 10 inflows to total inflows for all exchanges. The number basically the number increases, increasing means there is going to be an increase in sale pressure. Specifically from Wales, actually. Anyways, no, it doesn't matter where you're from, but yeah, you know, it is gonna suggest that we do see a little bit more top heaviness going on right on over here. Anyways, I saw a really good question at the beginning of the stream right now to our new member. I think it was Megan Hutchinson. Hold on, let me just pull it back up right here. There it is. There she is. She says, I can't get super chat to work, but I can become a member of the channel, and I want to know how low do you think Bcash will go? I thought this would be a great way to start off this this stream right now, because why the fuck not, man? And let's just go look at Bcash. How about it? How about that? Anyways, apologies to all the people who take offense to the word Bcash out there, but it is Bcash. Anyways, sorry, I can't help myself right now. Do I think that we'll see bounce along the way? Yes, absolutely. Of course, there's going to be bounces, but ultimately, where is your actual support on Bcash? Well, there is no support on Bcash. No, your actual support is probably somewhere around about $300 overall. I would not be looking to catch the knife before Bitcoin puts in anything resembling a low, and by low, I mean as long as we're below about $31,000. There's no talks of this being like a bear trap or anything like that. It's just the potential, of which I would be very cognizant of the current momentum, current trend, current volatility, all moving in the opposite direction. So until that happens, there is no, in my opinion, trade trap to be made, at least from my personal trading acumen. But right now, my option's actually doing pretty damn well over here. So I will go over this very briefly right now. Hey, stop that. Refresh this damn page. Silliness. Anyways, this is a testnet account, as I always have to say. It is not real money. This is just for me to demonstrate a bit of options trading over here on the testnet Deribit, which I would suggest is actually a pretty damn good way to get some repetitions in if you want to practice options trading. Anyways, as you can see right here, position's doing pretty damn well now that we actually do see a nice move. And with volatility looking to expand, I suspect that this is going to look even better, because I am long the 30,000 put strike for expiring this week, actually, and then also bought the September regulars as well, 20 times in fact, and printing a nice little P&L right there. Again, a lot of this is marks, especially in the further out expirations, of which the Septembers are still a couple months away, of course. But with all of that in mind, I do rather like this. And to kind of explain these positions right here, I'll just go over this very, very briefly, and then we'll get into the actual analysis. But first and foremost, I bought the 3038 strangle right here 10 times because we were looking for a resolution very likely this week. And with that in mind, with the current volatility read based off of our BBWP indicator was suggesting that, if you are going to be a premium buyer, this would be the time to do it. And I basically bought support and resistance on it for those time frames. Actually, 38, not necessarily resistance in this case. I probably could have bought the 36, but there wasn't any liquidity there, so I had to find whatever I could find. Anyways, then I went over to the September regulars and I bought the 3236 strangle against not against anything. I just bought it, and I bought 2-to-1 on the put side just because I am favoring the downside, of course. And then I sold the 20, 64 and 80 strikes against it on that one as well. What I should do now in order to kind of make this position a little bit more sightly, let's guess, is I want to spread out these $38,000 strike calls. Probably do a little bit of a time spread on that, maybe expiring next week if I can get filled on that. And I think I'm actually already making some offers right there. Let me just double check. Am I making some offers? I should be making some offers. Where are my damn offers at? Apparently not. No, I'm actually trying to sell the $35,000 put strike against, or sorry, call strike against it. Fuck it. It doesn't really need it right now. So let's go back into the actual charts themselves and let's talk about some goddamn price action analysis, because that is why I'm here. Anyways, let's go over here. Let's start off with the 5-day today. And remember, yesterday we did see a 5-day closure of which we saw 2 consecutive closures below the median of this, and more importantly, the last one that we just saw last night at 8 p.m. Eastern time was both an open and closure. And typically speaking, once you get a read like that, you are very likely to test the bottom side of that channel. In this case, that is around the $27,000 target. I think that is of particular interest, not because it's Josh's target, which he's been so patiently waiting for, but also it is the 3-day 200x moving average as well, which is one of those ones that just typically does get at least a nice little scalpy scalp. But for right now, things are looking like they want to continue onwards and onwards and downwards, but I would give things a chance to bounce along the way. I'm not like super bearish as some of the people out there calling like $10,000 or $15,000 for Bitcoin. You can get there, of course, but I want to take this one step at a time. And of course, as long as Bitcoin's in a downtrend, especially on the daily, I am not looking for any sustained moves to the upside. But like I said, there will be short-term time frame bounces along the way. And if we are going to see a trap, what is it going to look like? Well, it's going to look probably something like this. Bitcoin is going to make a nice little wick below our $30,000 level right here, and then close the day back above specifically $31,000 at the very minimum. The higher, the better, of course. But for right now, things are looking like a real breakdown, especially with the way that volatility is expanding from a very, 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 very low level right here. Remember, we did get down to a 1.59 percentile just a few days ago. Actually, not just a few days ago, about a week ago, in fact, but we've been expanding ever since. So has required a bit of patience on this. And as you can see, the moving average on this is flattened out. And if it does start to curl up, which it ever so slightly is right now, but I want to see that sustained for like a day or two, I'd be looking for that expansion with, well, trend continuation in this case. Remember, we also did see the weekly finally close on new lows as well, also below the 55 exponential average as as well right here too, and that was giving us the bias that if Bitcoin's going to break down, it's probably this week, and tentative targets would be about $30,000 short term. We pretty much hit that, or we've already hit that. Of course, there's very little reaction there, very, very small bounce, no bear trap to be found right there, and in the next target after that, it's going to be about $27,000 or so. I believe that's also synonymous with some sort of formation that we have over here. Again, I'm not a humongous pattern trader, and especially I'm not like a big inverted cup and handle or just cup and handle trader, but this does kind of fit the bill for a distributive pattern right at the bottom side of our support anyways, and this would have a measure move, which is also in line with that $27,000 region. So I would be looking for a bounce there, whether you're bullish or bearish, just because people are going to very likely be taking profits based off of all the multitude of all the different indicators that we've been looking at thus far. And then, if we want to see continuation, I'll be using that as another sort of basing point, if you will, meaning that if we do close below it, I'd look for another $3,000 move, very likely to the downside, somewhere around $24,000. And if that one fails, then we can talk about $19,000. But like I said, I will be taking this one step at a time. I'm not saying that Bitcoin can't go, into the teens or anything like that. Of course it can. But as a trader, I think that is very, 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 very important to be a little bit more subdued with hitting the fucking home run. At the end of the day, all you need to do is hit 4 singles, and you got one run. That's all that's needed. So in the way that I look at things, I like to be a little bit more conservative with taking profits and with kind of calling out big moves coming out of a base like this. But yes, there is certainly potential there, and things are not looking by any shape or any stretch of the imagination like good right now. But let's see how the lower term time frame momentum also is shaping up, because this is actually the time to be paying attention to your very low term time frames, in my opinion, after a very long form consolidation like this, of which this certainly fits the bill for that. We've been here for about 2.5 months now. You can usually use even the hourly as a very, 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 very strongly what's the word that I'm looking for? Just a very good just a very good time frame to kind of like be basing moves off of, in fact. And right now, well, things are more or less pointed further downside. However, we are hitting 100 percentile on our BBWP on the hourly. So do we see a little bit of a sideways here? Perhaps yes, but ultimately I would not look for that to do anything more than just a little bit of sideways, maybe a little bit of a bouncy bounce. Ultimately, it's a 4 hour that I'd be looking for now to kind of judge the totality of the next medium term move, if that. And as you can see right here, we are rapidly increasing on BBWP all the way up to about a 61 percentile right now, and probably going to continue on with that, assuming that Bitcoin does continue to the downside right here alongside traditional markets and alongside Dixie going up, as we did identify at the end of last week, giving us a bit of a bearish bias as well. Anyways, if you recall back to the long-term analysis video that I put up, this must have been like a month ago maybe, and I made a follow-up to it maybe like a week or two later, basically at the beginning of July, this month right here. We went over a lot of things that were kind of giving us a bias for what to expect, or what sort of indicators and what sort of signals to be looking for if Bitcoin is going to break down, or of course move to the upside as well. But all of the things that we were looking for essentially did suggest downside. One of the big ones for me was of course the monthly accumulation distribution indicator right here, which we did get a negative slope on that coming into July, of course. So that essentially implied that the month of June was distribution, and if we're looking at distribution right there, then well what does it imply? We probably moved down from there. I mean, this is distribution at the top, then redistribution right here. If you follow Wyckoff terminology, then next little markdown very likely incoming. And if you're looking at the monthly right here too, I mean 20 simple is going to be a little bit of a little bit of a target perhaps as well. But again, I wouldn't get too on that train just yet. I do think it's very possible Bitcoin could see a bear trap basically somewhere around $27,000. And again, in order to confirm that, I need to see a wick down there and then back up above 31,000, or if it's down to 27, just back above $30,000 would be good enough for me. But at the same point in time, what else did we see? We also saw the 9 exponential average right here broken, of which that was just a very simple way of kind of looking at it. And I mean, it has been working pretty damn well. So it looks like we don't get that fake bounce that I was looking for during most of June, unfortunately. But hey, that's trading at the end of the day. Have to kind of flow with it. And what else do we see going on right here as well? Well, not too much, but I do want to go back down to the daily, because what do we see on the daily? Well, here's what I would be looking for in order to essentially be looking for a daily trend continuation, as long as this condition is met. Once again, we do see Bitcoin is trending below the bottom side Trollender band. It is currently at 30,250 or so. So as long as we're below there, Jesus Christ, what the hell is that? Oh, it's the blinds over there. Can you actually see that? No, you can't. Anyways, Let there be light. There's lights in this bitch again. It's great. Anyways, yes, as long as we are closing below this region, which to be fair, we have not actually done just yet, I would be looking for general continuation on the daily and with those targets in mind. And as you can see, with Bitcoin closing below there, plus volatility expanding on our higher term timeframes now, that is typically a pretty damn good recipe for continuation here. Again, I want to see a closure today to fully confirm it, but so far so good, I suppose, if you do want to be bearish. And you'd expect that the 12 hours already doing the same thing, and actually no, it's not, but it will have a chance to do that on the next closure that's coming in 6.5 hours or so. And if it does happen, I'd feel very, very confident saying that the daily will fall through as well, and at the very least we'll hit 27,000 bucks, very likely bounce there, and then come back after that and see where we're at. Where would my short-term sort of stop on that be? Where would I start to switch around my opinion on this? Basically the weekend high, actually, right around about 32,000, what is this, some odd change right there, yeah, about 32,500 or so. A wick higher than that would look pretty damn good for a nice reversal for myself. Again, always have to have conditions for that. I don't think it's very likely right now, but do need to have that set up, and until that gets ticked off, I mean, the move is real essentially. Anyways, what else do we want to look at while we are here? Do we want to look at this chart over here? Yeah, let's go look at someone wants to see my hog. I don't know how to answer that. I'm very I'm very flustered. I'm blushing right now. Anyways, we'll go look at the witch chart once again. We take a Fibonacci time extension right here, just kind of see where this would line up with, and funnily enough, it looks like it got it once again, in fact. Did get obviously it got this high right here because I put it on that high, of course, but this was coming in from the macro breakout from about October 2020 to our first major highs in February. Got this high right here, got this high right here, this high right here, boom, boom, and once again, boom. So it looks like looks like the fibs are still working in this fashion, and we are seeing a bit of price action on top of that. If we want to bring up the moon phases as well and invoke the blessings of the witches out there, well, to be fair, I've been out traded by a goddamn witch. I've been out traded by a fucking witch, and it's true, man. I've complete shame for that. No, I shouldn't have any shame. Fair enough, man. She called it very well. She called it very well. You can't hate the old witch for that. She has absolutely fucking nailed it right there. And look at that. I mean, that is absolutely hilarious. Like, I can't get over this, man. I can't get over this. I don't want to believe that this is true. I don't want to believe, like, my academic brain, or at least a small portion of it that I still have, says, okay, bullshit, moon phases, bullshit, astrology, bullshit, but then again, I do technical analysis, and that's tea leaves for men anyway, so who cares? No, this is, to be fair, has been working pretty fucking well, so, maybe should give credit where credit is due, and I should also call this out as well. My red ellipses, my red little half circles are failing. Well, maybe not fail just yet, but it looks like it very likely will fail here, so I guess that little meme goes out the wayside as well. Anyways, what else do we want to talk about before we move on, or do we want to move on right now? Let's actually go discuss traditional markets really, really quickly here. So NASDAQ was giving us a bit of a bias yesterday that things would very likely come down a bit. NASDAQ actually getting a very nice bounce right here as well in the early morning hours. However, I would still be looking for continuation very likely once traditional market opens back up again. It looks like this bounce is already getting a little bit faded right now. Do we see any sort of, yes, we do see hidden bearish divergence right here on this last little lower high, a little bit of a head and shoulders on the RSI as well, so short term probably does come back down. I don't necessarily know if I'd call continuation like today, but I do think that this one probably has a little more downside overall. Let's see what the weekly levels are right now. Yeah, anywhere around the 10 simple would be fine enough for me, although we do see actually a nice wick there already. Anyways, regardless of that, I do want to check out Dixie because we didn't do that yesterday, but we did identify at the end of last week, or at the middle of last week, that Dixie was very likely going to take a nice leg up, and we did get a nice leg up right there. One of the key indications for me was closing above the 55 right here, and just more importantly resolving the short-term time frame trend to the upside once again, man. I mean, several drives of hidden bullish divergence off those lows. Now volatility starting to increase as well, and this one's just trend continuation right here. Probably do see a little bit of a pullback after the $93.50 level is met, and that probably correlates with a bit of a bounce on Bitcoin, maybe on a medium or higher term time frame. So I do think that could happen, perhaps, maybe around 27, maybe 28,000 bucks. If you are looking for a bear trap, perhaps that's where, you would look for the two sort of equations to kind of coincide with each other. But for right now, I mean, this is looking like a real reversal, and it looks like it wants to get continuation. We do see golden cross is very likely incoming. I mean, the daily trend is up. More importantly, the weekly has confirmed reversal as well. We got higher lows, and just by coming above your just by coming up to your prior high, I mean, that can't be by definition a lower high. So in this case, it does look like it wants to probably make a leg up somewhere above $94 over the next few months here. This is looking like we are not done just yet, especially on the monthly and I believe quarterly as well. There will be stops along the way, obviously, but this does look like it has a bit more legs to me, so fair enough on that. Anyways, anything else that we want to check out right now? Maybe Ethereum really quickly, or do we want to be looking at this over here? 3 days until a full moon reversal, bro. Is that real? I don't even know, man. Maybe I should get onto the moon train as well, because why the hell not? Why the fuck not, man? Maybe we could go check out our momentum charts over here too. Yes, this is what I wanted to talk about. 3 day Stokes turning down. More importantly, rejecting getting out of the bearish control and control zone. Not good right there. As I search for my words. 2 days, same thing. This one, I believe, closed last night. Yes, indeed it did. We are kind of right on support as well, so maybe we do get a bit of a bounce there. Again, I am open to traps within this region, but they need to happen sooner rather than later. No later than tonight's closure, actually, at 8 p.m. Eastern time, if we are going to see a trap at this exact level. Daily, what are we looking at right here? This one's on the floor, so realistically, it really wouldn't take too much to get a good bounce on Bitcoin. This one's showing $30,000 as daily momentum turning back up, and I believe the 2 day was, or sorry, no, that's 12 hour. What's a daily? Daily's 30,500-ish region, so it's still kind of within the same region right there. I'd need to see Bitcoin basically above that level at the very least by end of day in order to potentially be looking for a trap within this region. Short-term timeframes like 4 hour and below are pretty much at the same precipice as well. 30,100 for the 4 hour, 3 hours showing basically 29.9. 2 hour is showing 30,000 as well, and hourly showing $30,000 here too. So everything's kind of on the same side right now, all aligning with the same areas. So we could look at that as a nice little level for price action again by no later than end of day. If we start to see 4 hour closures back above that region, yeah, that could maybe look okay, but I wouldn't necessarily hold my breath at this current moment in time, and I really would not fade this specifically, just because I mean we are seeing the resolution of about a 2.5 month long consolidation right there. Oh, Elsa's taking away my pin. How dare you, sir? You are getting in the way of my flow right now. Anyways, just talk. Anyways, looking at this right here. This is CME chart. I think this one's a little more clear as well. And what do you know? We did already close on new lows actually at the end of last week, and we're just slightly seeing continuation right here as well. More importantly, daily RSI is getting back into the bearish control zone, and once again getting rejected at the same trend line that we've been seeing on this one for a long time now. This one coming in from all the way back in actually middle of February when Bitcoin was, I believe, to almost $60,000 for the first time. Anyways, with that said, as long as we're living below there, probably not going to see any like long-term sustained reversals, I imagine. And I'll just kind of keep just keep a little bit of an eye on that. And do we actually have a bit of a falling channel going on right here? Again, I'm not a humongous fan of these formations, but on our side, they can be okay. Maybe we do. Again, I wouldn't necessarily look at this as playable until we get back above the 50 read. Essentially, it looks like it wants to stay down there at least for now. Anyways, okay, are we coming in line with these wicks right here right now? That's about 28.5 or so. Let me just double check. Yeah, about 28.7 or so. And I do think that the CME chart's going to be a little more obvious on this one too, very very likely, as it typically is. Anyway, short-term time frames. Do we see anything of particular difference here? No, we do not. We see volatility increasing plus RSI suggesting more downside. And what about on our 12 hour right here? Same thing. What about on daily? We already looked at that one. 2 day, do we have anything of particular interest right here? We got the 200 coming in right around, about just below $28,000 in the mid 27s. So again, I do see a lot of things coming in within that region. Other than that, though, I mean, we're just kind of seeing the culmination of many of the things that we were talking about, many of the things that we've been speaking about for the past month now. Slowly but surely saw more and more ticks within the bearish favor here, and I do feel like this was a pretty damn good. Sort of. What's the word that I'm looking for right now? This was a pretty damn good, I don't want to say lesson, but a pretty damn good experience if you are new into trading right here. Because if you remember throughout this whole thing right here, I was staying, pretty neutral, saying that, hey, we could see both an upside or a downside move, which is, why people hate technical analysis. But, it was more like don't be looking for the move just yet until we got around to the end of last week. It's like, hey, okay, now's about the time that we could be looking for a resolution, especially if it's going to be to the downside. And this is a good sort of insight into thinking in terms of opportunity cost. You really don't want to be stuck in a short position in this area over here, even though things, were looking like they were going to break down, because your equity is going to be all tied up for about a month right there, and you can't really make use of fuck all, unfortunately. So I do feel quite proud of that, and I do think that if you can have the patience to kind of sit through something like that, that is going to serve you incredibly well in your trading journey or in whatever journey that you so desire, because patience is patience at the end of the day. Anyways, I think we can maybe go over to some comments right now. I'm gonna take another sippy sip of this nice yerba mate, so shout out to all the South Americans out there. And I think Elsa's got all the comments already ready. Let me just double check on time. Oh yes, that's what I need to that's what I need to that's what I need to talk about as well. I need to remind myself. I do have a doctor's appointment a little bit later today, so I do need to make sure that Katie says, could he have picked more annoying music? Nice comment, sir. Anyways, yeah, I do have a doctor's appointment a little bit later today, so I do need to make sure that this stream stays a little bit more on the shorter side. Let me turn on the alerts right now, and let's see what we got. Holy fuck, that was loud. Jesus Christ, let me turn that down. Hello, Mr. Josh. There he is. Oh, baby, still waiting for my targets. Love it, man. Mr. Patience himself. Scott Carney's back. Hello, guys. My PP did an 88% retrace. She's not happy. Yeah, well, that would be a little bit concerning, sir. I agree. Josh says Ethereum USD weekly looking for a buy. Support holds around 1539. Man, you're playing the 15. You're dangerously close to the 1559, Mimi. No, I don't think that's the area, honestly. I know that you're looking at the weekly 55 right here. I want to be looking at this in terms of structure as well. And where's our last structural area? It's coming in right from here, actually, a little bit lower than there, in fact. So I do think that if Ethereum really wants to dump it out, you'll probably get a wick down somewhere between about 1450 and about 1300 or so, on an actual move. And that's a move that I'd actually be looking for. If we did see, like, by end of week, a close back above the 55, that is kind of what I'd be a bit defensive against, just because I wouldn't want to buy the first wick down to the 55 if you are not looking to scalp it, if you're just looking to hold it, which I believe you probably are, because from what I understand, you're more of a long-term trader. And maybe that's okay with you, maybe that's not okay with you, but I do think that if things do dump out, it's probably gonna be a little bit lower. We see 3-day, way fucking below there. I think it's a lot more obvious on the 3-day as well, by the way. Just this area right here, we do see a bit of consolidation, so naturally speaking, would be looking for a little bit of activity right around there. 2 days right around 1500, so still a little bit lower than 1540 or 1550, as you were saying. But ultimately, it's going to be up to Bitcoin to decide, how deep we're going to go here, for better or worse. I mean, for Ethereum, probably for worse, because probably going to get hit on the face a little bit more harshly than Bitcoin himself. Anyways, with that said, monthly, what are we looking at right here? Yeah, we do see the 10 symbol coming in, actually a little bit higher than that as well. Kind of a natural, short-term bounce area, but again, it depends what you're trying to do. It depends what you're trying to do. I think that you're generally in the right area there, at least if I was trading that myself. But there is something of particular interest here on Ethereum that is not present on Bitcoin. Ethereum has not made new lows, actually, or at least I don't believe it has. We got 1721 on the current low today. We had 1711 on this low right here. So it's definitely not the current low. This one's 1717. And let me just see if that's consistent among this exchange as well. Oh yeah, definitely it is. And what about our futures exchange as well? Yes, absolutely it is. In fact, wow, this first drive down on the 24th of May did not get anywhere near as low as the spot price action exchanges. But this is about the same way that Bitcoin chart looked when Bitcoin CME futures debuted about 3-4 years ago now in 2017 December. Holy shit, man! It feels like just yesterday, but that was actually 4 years ago almost now. That is insane, man. Time really does fly. But overall, yeah, not looking too hot right there. Anyways, like I said, there will be bounce along the way. In fact, wouldn't be the worst area to have a little bit of a short-term bounce as well. But I'd look for Bitcoin on direction. I think things are a little bit more obvious on Bitcoin, and to just kind of put it, fully forth straightly, if that's going to be the terminology. Even on a 4 hour, as long as we're below the actual rejective wick right here, of which you can see that this blue box was retested once and twice, rejected on the second one and down. There's no talks of like any sustained upside moves, just short-term bounces, which you may or may not think are playable or relevant to your own strategy. I can't make that decision for you, obviously. But you kind of trade at your own peril right now against the trend, as things can get going a lot more nasty. If anyone's been here since like 2018 and 2019 especially, what that means, or even 2020 as well. I mean, we did have obviously the coronavirus dump now, didn't we? Anyways, we got Sam Frignosi, welcome sir. Jason Laystrom, welcome sir. Scott Carney's back. He says ALYI monthly, this monthly candle doesn't have a wick up, and all prior monthly candles have wicks both ways, so is bounce due. I don't know if that's a form of analysis I would trust myself, or that I've ever used myself, but let me just double check that I even understand what you're saying here. Okay, so what you're saying is this monthly candle doesn't have a wick up, and all prior monthly candles have wicks both ways, so is bounce due. I don't think that's a I don't no, I don't think it works like that, man. I don't think it works like that. Let's go back down to the weekly. I just want to see where this one's operating at right now. I do think it very likely does bounce here a little bit on the short-term timeframes, but I know that that's not what you're looking for. I know that you're playing the long game here. Look, the second that it comes back down below last month's wick, this thing's going to probably fall apart a bit. I still do think sideways is kind of best case scenario for this one, but just like Bitcoin, sideways is, it's still best case scenario for it, but it's not doing that right now, as you can see, giving away to the $30,000 level, even if it's just for a short amount of time right now. It is a bit concerning, but just because there's been wicks to the upside on all of the monthly dildos, there needs to be on this as well. No, I can't say that that's something I'd put any amount of faith in. In fact, you can see right here, this is also not true. I mean, just kind of picking out a few examples. No wick to the upside right here, no wick to the upside right here, barely a wick to the upside right there. No, so it's also, I'd also fact check the statement itself and say, no, it doesn't need to do that, and this one right here as well. So no, if that's what you're basing your trade off of, I'd have to say the results, looking at the historical analysis of it, are not good enough, at least in my opinion. I'd still be looking at the range though. Weekly still has a few more days left to trade, but for right now, holding on for dear life right there. Anyways, his bounce too. King Cosmic says, hi, spy please, 1 hour and daily. Yeah, let's go look at that one. Where are we right now? And how's this one holding up? I imagine it's probably on a little bit of a bouncy bounce too. Hey, not bad actually. Hourly, I imagine we probably have the same sort of setup as we do on NASDAQ. Yeah, we do. Had that same sort of hidden bearish divergence right there. And did we already play this out though, is a real question. We got it right here. I'd say that's confirmed right here. How much of a move have we already played out from this? I mean, that's a 0.5%, which doesn't sound like anything to crypto people, but it is, it is a decent move for an hourly in traditional land. You have a pretty obvious range going on right here. I'd just be using this last little lower high right here as a bit of a basing point, meaning that as long as we're below it, I generally favor the downside. I look at this break as likely to get a bit more continuation, perhaps on the daily, maybe another drive down to the 55 right here at about 42.30 or so. But if it does take it out to the upside, if it actually just even trades above here, I would look for a move back up to the daily 21 right here at about 4,300 or so. So it's a very easy way to kind of be based off of a trade. If we do bake to the downside though, I would say big caution, just because, I'll just say big caution in general, just because this... I mean, we do see a lot of bearish signals on the higher term timeframes here, which is rather concerning. But so what I'm trying to say is that it could have a lot more legs on it, especially with the way that volatility is kind of sprucing up right now too from the higher term timeframes. But if you are trading the lower term timeframes like now, I do think that you probably have a bit of scalps on both sides there. More importantly, this is not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor, of course. Anyways, again, just right here at about 42.73 and 3/4, just basically the high side of this hourly little structure right there. Nothing too much more crazy than that. Actually, a rather simple chart, in fact. Burn to Earn says, hey Krown, hey man, you changed your name, so it's actually a lot more easy to phonetically read. Hey Krown, can you take a look at the daily and 4 hour on the MM coin that keeps taking off with plasma warp engine fuel? Is this like, I don't know what this one is, man. So I'm just gonna type in USD. Nothing's popping up. I don't know what you're talking about. I'd be happy to look at it, but you need to send me like a very easy and applicable ticker in order to look at it, man, because I don't know what that is. And it appears that it's also not on TradingView as well, man. It keeps taking off with plasma warp engine fuel. I don't know if I'm being trolled or not, but that seems like a fucking mouthful of buzzwords right there. Plasma warp engine fuel. Sounds great, man. Super Googly says 3 days until full moon reversal, bro. Yeah, I already read this one apparently, but well, the moons have gotten us this far, I guess. So maybe I just quit all other forms of analysis and just go to the moons, man. Start learning my astrologies. But yeah, you know, perhaps we do see it at the, I guess that would be at the end of this week too. So fair enough, perhaps, yes. It's something to keep an eye on, I suppose. You know, I suppose I need to let go of my previously held thoughts about the stars and whatnot, and be a bit more open-minded. James Nayland says, as always, the most important question, when moon? 3 days, I hear. 3 days until moon? Well, I hope so for the haulers' sake out there, but for people holding shorts, well, I suspect they're probably enjoying this price action right now. When moon? Yes, you will have a new moon in 3 days, apparently, according to the astrologers out there. So we'll just keep an eye on it, I suppose. Miguel says, hey, Krown, hope you're well. I am well, man, or at least I hope I am. We'll find out at the doctor a little bit later today. Will the day ever come when Bitcoin does not dictate how the market goes? Well, first off, how are you doing, sir? Will the day ever come when Bitcoin does not dictate how the market goes? Okay, I think it would be naive to say that day is never coming, right? Because, you know, as the market matures, you do expect that more and more of the market would kind of, you know, differentiate itself from each other. I think before that event would happen, we'd probably see a true washout out of all of the shitcoins in this market. So 90%, probably even more than 90% of things that are traded within the cryptocurrency market are just complete, you know, garbage. They probably have no business being traded. They, you know, quite literally just pump and dump, right? But at some point, I do think that when the market matures, maybe when Bitcoin's, perhaps if it ever gets to, and I think that it, you know, it has a good shot at doing it, you know, somewhere around a market cap of like gold or silver, for example, then at that point you could say that the market is sufficiently matured, and I'd probably look for a bifurcation between the different sectors of the cryptocurrency landscape. Because realistically, cryptocurrency should be broken up into like 4 different sectors, right? We got crypto assets, which is what Bitcoin is, and I think a few others too. That's like your store of value. You got crypto applications, you got crypto platforms, and you got crypto actual currencies. I think cryptocurrencies, like in the essence of it, you know, like actual currencies, you know, trying to be a fiat currency in, you know, in essence, but just with, I guess, crypto on it, tacked onto it. I think those are probably destined to have a very difficult time in the future, because it seems very, 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 very clear that all central banks within the world are looking to implement their own versions of CBDCs. So that'll probably wash out that, but the other ones, I imagine, is going to be differentiated between sectors, and then you'll probably play the sector, and it'll be like the stock market, right? Where, you know, you have SPY, which is kind of like your major index, and then you have some sub indices all below that and whatnot, and then you have your individual stocks, and, you know, they all kind of play within their, you know, they all kind of play generally within their sector, but every once in a while, when something's, you know, just got an event going on, or maybe they have some sort of, you know, fundamental change, then they will actually be doing their own thing. But I suspect it'll always be in some way related to each other, just by that name. But I think that we're still probably a bit of a ways off. Anyways, Baker Unemployed says, may Ethereum follow the Kraken wick of death? Let's see. Okay, so I'm guessing you're looking at Ethereum on Kraken. Kraken known for these absolutely monstrous wicks. Are you talking about this one right here? That I mean, that would be quite the move, man. I'm not saying that it's impossible. I just would say it's not like my first target for this move right now. It's quite out there. If you're talking about a move all the way down to $700, a lot of things would need to happen for me first before I look at that as like a reasonable target. Namely, I'd want to see, you know, at the very least, Ethereum take out like 1100 right here. At that point, I'd probably be looking for a move down there, maybe a little bit lower towards about 650 or so before the next sort of potential major low. Funnily enough, if you actually overlay a chart of Ethereum with 2017, 2018 Bitcoin, this run right here is very similar in a lot of ways, like very fucking similar in a lot of ways, just as an aside. And that eventually did come down, I believe, like 80 or so percent. So I'm not going to say that this is exactly going to happen, but let's just play around with numbers for a second here. Where would 80% put us? It actually wouldn't even put us as low as that. I'm not saying that it's not low, but it'd put us around $900 or so. So take that as you will. And again, for reference, here's a real chart. Just fucking dump it out, man. But yeah, if your question is quite literally talking about this wick right here, I don't think it's reasonable for me to say that as like a legitimate target from where we're at right now. A lot of things would need to happen first. I mean, shit, man, we haven't even broken the lows, technically speaking, on Ethereum just yet. So it's going to take a little bit more sustained downside from Bitcoin, specifically, in my opinion, in order to really start to initiate more deep targets. And the next one for me would be, as we discussed earlier with Josh, somewhere between about 1400 and 1500 or so. And then I'd want to see like a resolution from there and then take it from there, of course. Let's see. Michael Crook says, hey, Krown, check out Tilray 1 in daily. Okay, so TLRY. This would be a good day to check out GameStop as well. I imagine it's probably trading with Bitcoin. Interesting. I mean, did kind of close the day on a bit of a bounce there. I'm not a fan of this chart though on the weekly. And again, we should really be looking at the linear chart right here. This is a garbage chart, man. Ultimately, I do think that this one does come lower. Does it bounce up a little bit on the hourly? Perhaps yes. I don't have a strong opinion on that at all. Let's see. Do we see any sort of divergences coming in here? Yeah, we actually do. This one could maybe open the day up on a bounce, maybe back up to like 14 or 14 and a half or so. That doesn't really do all that much for me long term though. If you're looking at you didn't ask about the weekly, but I think the weekly is a little more clear here. I would generally be looking for this one to come back down below $10 over the next couple months here. In fact, speaking of the months, let's talk about the monthly. Yeah, monthly is clearly putting in a lower high on the macro schedule right there. So I would feel quite comfortable saying, by year's end, I'd be looking for this thing somewhere between about $6 and $8. It's not looking too hot right there, in my opinion. There's no real reason to change around on this thing, especially as long as you're below last month high. But even more importantly, as long as you're below about $25, this one is sufficiently wrecked, I would say. All momentum oscillators, well, for what we can see on the weekly, are in bearish posturings right now too. Okay, burn to earn says it's the million token. Okay, I don't think. Yeah, that's obviously not on trading view, but maybe we could do something like this. Or sorry, how the fuck do we do this? No, that's not gonna get it. Maybe I can pull it up on like CoinDerpo or something. Let me just pull it up over here. Okay, let's see. Is it gonna be there? I'm guessing the ticker's just MM. Yeah, it is there. Oh wow, it's 294 on market cap. Is this it? I'm guessing this is it right here. Milliontoken.org sounds like the right name, I guess. How long of history do we have here? Not much. Oh wow, we barely have any history. Not even a month. What the hell? Why? The crypto market never fails to impress with the absurdity of our present day realities. What the fuck, man? All-time high is 223 and now trading at 76 bucks. Okay, so we had, oh my god, we had more than 50% pullback, aka crash, since 14th of July. Okay, and remind me, the whole purpose of this thing is like not some guy, but like a very prominent YouTube channel with over 1 million subscribers, who is a former tech lead for Facebook and maybe another big corporation, created his own token called Millionaire Token, and he put $1 million of his own money, I guess, into it to kind of like base it, and then basically you made tokens. I don't even know. I even get it. But basically there was a fixed supply of tokens. People bought into it, and then obviously number go up in that case. But it looks like people are taking profits now. So that's not good, or at least not good for them. In fact, I'm actually very curious. No one's asked about this just yet, but I need to see. What is Hex doing during all of this? Is Hex actually holding up right now? Whoa! Holy fuck! Oh my god! Holy shit! Wow. Okay, so did we get another move up like I said yesterday? Yeah, we did. Hey, not bad. We did. It was a rejection. Yep, I think it's safe to say that this one's done for a while now. Wow. Even Hex is getting boo caked on now too. I really want to see BBWP get to 100%, although that would make it a lot more obvious. Until then, though, I don't know. Can it do something impressive? Well, that hourly wick is actually rather impressive right now. Maybe don't rule it out just yet. But goddamn, man, that is a dastardly day in the last 24 hours. Let's see. So yesterday high 17 cents, today low 7.5 cents, 57% move right there. Okay, Nimbo, I think you called it, man. I think you called it. I did say that there would be one more try to the upside, and we actually did get that from 15 cents to 17 and some odd change right there. Is that enough for me now? I think you might be able to say that, yes. Let's see if that's consistent amongst other exchanges, or if this was just a one-off, just to make double sure. Let's see. Yeah, it is consistent. Okay, very interesting. Yeah, I do think that it's relevant to say it's probably going to be a bit sideways here. Maybe even comes back up and fills a gap. And then, well, we'll see what happens after that. How about that? Okay, cool. Evil Quandrays says, doesn't a falling wedge like we appear to be in? I don't think that we're in a falling. I don't think wedges work to begin with, man. Look, most patterns are bullshit in my opinion. Most patterns are very much bullshit, and wedges are not that bullshit in traditional markets or Forex, but they're, in my opinion, they're certainly bullshit in cryptocurrency land. We're not in a fuck. There's nothing wedgy about this, man. Where would you fit a wedge? Okay, so we can do this a couple ways, I suppose. We could do it one like this. If you're going to look at it like this, I guess something like this would be about right. Does that fit the bill for a wedge? Kind of. It actually kind of does from a volume perspective. You know, if I'm being as as straightforward as possible, yeah, it actually would. Probably takes us a little bit lower and we can't get wicks below. That's fine. But I've also seen people like put a wedge in it like this too. This is complete bullshit. Whatever people are doing with this is not real right here. This is not a fucking wedge on this one. And honestly, man, wedges have a terrible hit rate in cryptocurrency land. Some studies have been done, namely by my friends Quant Firm, and they actually went over a lot of TA patterns, and they show that most of them are bullshit in cryptocurrency land. The ones that seem to work out relatively well, at least well enough for me to trade, are triangles for the most part, and in some cases channels too. Those ones seem to work, but this would not fit the bills, of a wedge at all whatsoever. That you're just being sold some hopium right there. You could say this one right here, but I'd push back on that statement saying that, look, man, I've never fucking met a falling pizza that I've liked, and I'm also lactose intolerant. And it actually would suggest that we probably come down to $27,000 first or $28,000 first before playing off it, even if it is going to hold true anyways. I very, very rarely see them work out, and I believe the statistics, my fucking lisp is getting in the way right now. The statistics of these is like in the low 20s, and that's just abysmal, man. That's just fucking abysmal. Okay, cool. So hold on. Let me just read the rest of your comment there. Okay. Result in a quick turn to the upside. I think you're being sold some hopium right there, man. Cardano looks tasty right about now. Well, if it looks tasty at a buck and whatever the fuck it's trading at, $1.05, it's probably gonna look even more tasty soon enough. Here's the thing. Okay, let's say that it is a wedge. Let's just close our eyes and fucking click our heels together and say there's no place like home, and Bitcoin's just going to go back up to the moon and beyond. How would you confirm that this is going to actually act as such? Well, it's basically the same thing that we spoke about earlier. So even if this is going to be a wedge, which I don't think it is, but even if it is, how would you confirm an actual breakout above it? You need to see it take out this prior little high right here, 32.5, the same area that we spoke about at the very beginning of this video right now. As long as Bitcoin's below there, no talks of a sustained upside move. Certainly no traps as long as we're below about $30,000, but that's easily reclaimable, I suppose. Then again, never speak too soon. But if that were to happen, we could make a move on them. We could certainly do that. Again, I don't want to feed you hopium right here. I don't think it's very wise, but it would be pointed back up to the top side of the range, right around about $39,000 to $40,000. So, keep that in mind. And that would generally be my target if Bitcoin could actually, reverse the daily trend as well. But for right now, it's very far and away. And I do fear that that's more hopium induced than anything else. Anyways, if you're asking about Cardano, for example, let's see how this one is holding up. Not, relative to the rest of the market, it is holding up relatively well. Absolutely. I would agree with that, just being as, as fair as possible here. But is this, if this thing drops out the $1 lows, any sort of a daily closure below there, this thing's gonna fall apart rather significantly. Next big bounce area probably between about 80 and 85 cents. Below there, it's all there to 60, somewhere between about 60 and 65 cents. Look, man, I don't want to fucking feed you hopium right now. If this thing closed below $1, this thing's gonna come down very fucking hard. Let's look at the monthly as well. Fuck! Holy shit, man. Does it look tasty? I don't know. Maybe you're holding a short. Perhaps you are. Is there anything else that we can look at right here? Actually, I'd like to look at it on this chart as well. Let's see if it's trading below the current bottom side Trollender band, and it is. Yeah, and that's coming in where? That's basically coming in at about 109, your last prior low right here. I'd be careful, man. I'd be very careful. Hey, this is good though. Finally, fucking euro dollar coming down. All right. There we go. Don't have to pay a 20% premium on anything that I buy in this goddamn country any longer. That's good. Save a few bucks there. All right. Anyways, moving on. Let's see what else we got. Okay. All right. There he is. The Dominicans are back. What's up, Mr. Kendrick Camps? The Dominicans are back with you, Krown. Bear and bull, Jesus, love it, man. We are, of course, we are market neutral, sir. Witches are here. Fuck yeah, man. I'm a witch. I'm trying to be a witch and wizard myself, man. I've been watching Harry Potter all night. Elsa's trying to become the next Luna Lovegood or whatever the hell, the Nordic witch, whatever the fuck she is. It's good, man. It's good shit. Cavians are pounding all kitchen utensils with Elsa while the world panics. I love it, man. There you go. And that's a true view of a trader right there. I mean, it's like, look, you don't really care which way this one goes, even though, as a Bitcoin appreciator, I guess. I'd rather go up than down. It's also a lot easier to just, sit on your ass and make money, I guess. But at the end of the day, man, just any sort of movement of which we're getting like the first, in my opinion, relevant and valuable movement for the first time in a couple weeks here, actually is actually going to provide some opportunity. And that's really what we're here to look at, regardless of whether you think Bitcoin is cool or not, which I do think Bitcoin is cool. I think it's a very interesting piece of technology, and I do think it'll pull through long term. But are we going to play out a bit of a cycle here? Looks like so. All right, cool. What else do we got, man? Kus, and good to see you back, man. Kusa Mountis says, how significant is the yearly open on Bitcoin as support? 28.8. Okay, so let's first go to exactly what you're talking about. Let's actually go to the longest running chart, and we can do a bit of a long-term analysis on this. This is not something that, oh my God. It's funny. The yearly's never really seen like a significant pullback, funnily enough. This is your real chart, so maybe I take that back. But at some point, we will see a yearly pullback, which will be nasty. So far, not so good. Okay, so basically you're asking how significant is the yearly open? So the yearly open was about $29,000 or so. This is on the index, by the way. I'm curious what it was on Bitstamp just to see. Yeah, same thing, about 29. What about Coinbase? Oh my God, Coinbase's wick is even more nasty. Yeah, still $29,000 as well. So typically speaking, you will see a bit of activity there, at the very least for a scalp. In fact, one of the most simplistic strategies I've run in my life, and I actually still use it to this day when necessary, is quite literally just playing the fucking backfill on prior opens, for the prior dildo. In this case, that would be your $29,000 tick right now. Have we gotten down there already? I don't believe so. Or at least not just yet. Yeah, not just yet. So you probably do look for a bounce around there at the very least. But would I say that it's destined to never go below there? I don't think it's a very wise thing to say, because obviously, it has done that before. I mean, back here in 2015, obviously it didn't just test the prior yearly low. It took it out by a good margin. In fact, it doesn't look like too much on log scale, obviously, but let's just see, from open to next low, that's a 50% move, man. This one over here held it. So it really hasn't happened too often in Bitcoin's past, to be fair. But I wouldn't put too much faith in it, except for a bounce, and I do think that it will provide a bit of a bounce. In fact, perhaps that's what we're seeing right now. We do see a move all the way from about 29.5, which basically close enough. Maybe you want to see maybe a little bit closer to $29,000, and I would be looking for a short-term bounce there at the very least. Could it be a reversal? Yes, there's always a possibility of that, but I wouldn't call that a confirmed basically bear trap and reversal until Bitcoin closes the daily back above. Specifically $31,000 if it's going to be 29 right there. Maybe $30,000 you can still kind of keep the hopium alive, perhaps. But the problem with talking about this kind of stuff is like, yeah, anything is possible, right? But we need to think in terms of probabilities, and I just don't want to be spreading hopium right now, man. That's my problem. I'm not saying that it can't happen. I'm certainly not saying that it can't happen. It's just, understand what that actually means. And that's just not been true throughout the history of Bitcoin as well. And just because it's done in the past does not necessarily mean it's going to do in the future for like a very, kind of shaky thing to begin with. Just my opinion in that case. What I'm trying to say is I wouldn't play it as a reversal on the first fucking pass, man. I'd wait for Bitcoin to close back above. I mean, I'd really want to see like $31,000 at the very least. $30,000 would kind of keep the hopium alive, though, I do think. Miguel says these general market opinions are valuable to me than asking you to analyze any coin. I wish you'd create a channel for that. You really know more. Hey man, I'm big Krown brain, man. I'm happy to share things that I've learned and things that I've experienced in the past with that, because it also reminds myself too, man. And when I remind myself, like it's just a good thing to kind of keep with you, because if you don't remind yourself, then you might forget, and then you might have to learn the same goddamn lesson again, and that's rather painful, because I've actually done that in the past. And if you don't have to do that, that's much more preferable, in my opinion, much more preferable. I'm gonna polish off this damn yerba mate right here, put it over here so I don't have to throw those damn tasty leaves all over myself. Oh, Elsa's gonna clean it up. Nice. And we'll move on. But yeah, man, and those sorts of questions too, especially like theoretical questions, are really, really great, because I can record them and then I just put them on a playlist here. So I have been doing that. And maybe you're just not aware of that, but I have a playlist on this channel called the Psychology series, I believe, and then also like a TA 101 playlist where we kind of go over these more theoretical topics. not necessarily related to like full on, you know, price action analysis. Jason Lystrom says, still remember your Chicago days, bro? Oh man, fun times. Definitely good times. Absolutely. Would a potential dump in SPY aggravate Bitcoin's drop, or would you say that's already priced into Bitcoin USD? Okay, so the question is, would a potential dump in SPY aggravate Bitcoin's drop? Well, I mean, we kind of did see a dump in SPY yesterday, as we spoke about over the weekend was likely. So do I think that it's already priced in if we saw a dump further from today? I believe that is a question. Okay, so let's just go back over to SPY and let's just make sure that we're talking about the same thing. So let's say that SPY were to dump again back down to like 4230, maybe even slightly lower lows here to like 4200 even or something like that. Would that affect Bitcoin? Here's the thing: Bitcoin and SPY and Bitcoin in traditional markets, you know, Nasdaq and whatnot, which I think it trades more with because it is considered like a tech or a finance, you know, and obviously Nasdaq has both XLK and XLF in it. I would say it really hasn't been there's really been no correlation there for like the last couple of months. I mean, obviously, while Bitcoin has been, you know, playing out its 50% downside move from, you know, 65 down to $30,000, SPY, for example, was doing this whole segment right here from May 19th, put in this low right here. So it did kind of come down with Bitcoin, but it certainly did not put in a downtrend and just ground its way up to new all-time highs straight from there. Same thing on Nasdaq as well, which I think is a little bit more relevant to this discussion. So to the upside, doesn't really like to play with it. To the downside, we do see they are kind of, you know, moving in the same direction right now. But realistically, man, while I do think that it matters, and I do think that obviously if traditional markets start to dump it out and we start to get, you know, played the old fear drums of whatever the, you know, current flavor of the month is. I think right now it's a coronavirus, and, you know, I understand there's definitely a virus out there. I don't know too much about it or anything like that. I'm certainly not a fucking doctor, so don't consult my opinion on that, for the love of God. But that's right, I'm not a doctor, Elsa. So maybe I've maybe I have a few apologies to make for last night's behavior. Anyways. Dr. Krown is in the building, sir. You know, if SPY dumps out here, man, or Nasdaq for that matter, I imagine Bitcoin's going to come down further with it too. I don't think it'd be priced in. You know, Bitcoin is relatively weak compared to the major indices for U.S. markets, and I would imagine that any sort of weakness in traditional markets is going to translate to greater weakness in Bitcoin on a percentage basis. Obviously, I mean, you know, this is weaker right now, all things considered. So no, I would not say it's priced in, but here's the main message. Here's why I kind of struggle with this sort of thing. Honestly, man, I think correlation in general is like, it's like a cool talking point and everything, but you got to trade the fucking asset that's in front of you. I'm not going to say it's bullshit, even though it's just like, okay, man, okay, you're going to talk about fucking correlation, but how are you going to apply that in a reasonable manner without complicating things to goddamn hell? And it doesn't even help you all that much anyways. In my experience, no, not really, man. Trade the asset that's in front of you. That's one of the main things that I learned in trading traditional markets. Trade the fucking asset that's in front of you. Yes, you want to keep an eye on the indices. Yes, you want to keep an eye on other things that are, you know, that are related to it, like the sectors and whatnot. But at the end of the day, your P&L is marked off of the asset that's in front of you, and that's kind of final. Sam Fragnosi says pound dollar. Oh sure, man. Yeah, let's look at some Forex over here. That's always a welcomed you know, welcome difference. Oh man, holy shit, you man. Dollar actually looking good across multiple different currencies. I'd be looking for this one to continue downside. I know that you did ask about a daily, and perhaps there is going to be a short-term bounce around here. I don't know about that, man. I think you kind of played out your bounce right here, actually. This would have been your higher low. That would have looked pretty damn good for a general drive back up to the 140s or so, but bounce obviously failed, and it looks like continuation to the downside is more likely, especially on the weekly. I think this is rather obvious. Next sort of bouncy area, somewhere coming in from our Jan lows right here. Oh, yeah, you know, anywhere within this wiki area is fair game, but I do think that this one, if memory serves me correctly, okay, this one on the monthly, which you didn't ask for, to be fair, but I do think that we put in a macro top right here. I'm not saying that this one's going to trend to the downside and like break our current low structures, for example, like right here. Shit, we got too many trend lines. Let's make this nice and easy. Boom, right here. Boom, right here. I do think you're going to spend more time consolidating, regardless of whether you're bullish or bearish. This one very likely does come back down, fill out the range a little bit more, puts in a low somewhere in like the 120s or something like that, and then we get resolution like probably in like a year or two, man. It's going to take a long time. Just like one massive giant oscillator. But for right now, I do look at this as very likely, very, very likely coming down on the greater scheme of things. Clear rejection off the bullish control zone on RSI, and monthly do actually point in a little bit of downside, although I don't really think that the monthly works on this indicator anyways, at least for the setup that I currently have going on. But yeah, weekly showing, next area somewhere down around like 135 and a half or so. Probably a little bit of a bounce there. Bounce probably gets faded. I'd generally be looking for this one to come down over the next 6 months, probably to the low side of this range here. I think it's played out its highs for now. Anyways, moving on, we got KC Welsh says, hey Krown, Candlemaster, I don't know what that means. Would you check out OHM on Sushi? Okay, not familiar with this one. OHM, you look, it must be this one right here, the Sushi swap versus Ethereum or versus DAI. I don't know what the hell that is, but we can look at versus Ethereum. Oh wow, this chart looks significantly different than anything else we're looking at, but this is obviously going against Ethereum, not the dollar. So it's just stronger against Ethereum in this case. Would you check out OHM on Sushi? Been in an uptrend for a while. Wonder if we can weather the Bitcoin shitstorm. Well, the problem is we're looking at this versus Ethereum right now, but Ethereum and Bitcoin more or less trading similarly to each other. Obviously you do have a bit of a toppy formation right there. I don't see any divergences, but you also don't really have enough history here on the daily to populate much of anything of particular interest. I do think this one has a little bit of downside here. This is certainly toppy in the short-term timeframes. Extremely short-term, maybe a bounce back up to like 30 cents or so. That I'm not too confident on. I would be looking for this one to naturally find a low somewhere in the low 20s, between about 20 cent and 21.5 cent or so. So do I think that it'll weather the storm? Versus US dollar, I imagine this just means it comes down less. Well, I guess it'd actually come down more in the short term. But overall, man, it does look like it's holding up better, all things considered, than a lot of the other majors. Just we don't really know the US dollar valuation because I'm charting this one versus Ethereum, as that's kind of our only way to do it right now on TradingView, it looks like. So I do think it'll be a bit of sideways and down, but you got your uptrend going as long as you're above the 55 right here, and that's coming in right around about 19 cents or so. So I do happen to think you probably will come down and test somewhere around there in the low 20s. And I'd be looking for a higher low somewhere around there. And then if it is going to continue onwards and upwards, that's where I'd be looking for. But short term, if Bitcoin does dump out the current lows and really start making a move towards 28 or 27,000 bucks, I'd be looking for this one to follow and play out some downside. It's just what you're looking for is a higher low in relationship to Ethereum, somewhere right around here. That would give the confidence for a more long-term move. But it's hard to talk long-term on something that's only been around for couple months here, about since May to July. So we got April, May, June, July, about 3-4 months almost. Not much to go off of right there, unfortunately. One Pump says, check out Ethereum Classic, please. All time frames. Thank you, sir. You want me to go through like literally all these ones right here? I don't know if that's I don't even know if you want me to do that, but we can look at Ethereum Classic. I guess we go to maybe Bittrex for this one. It'll have the most BitCoke. Oh, that can't be an exchange, man. That needs to be shut down immediately. Holy fuck. Bittrex right here should have a long form history. Yeah, we do. Going back to, actually, I think it'd be a lot more longer than this. August 2018. Certainly, we got to have more than that. Certainly, maybe Poloniex. We got to go deep into the shitcoin exchange drawer for this one. Yeah, here we go. Yeah, I do happen to know this. This one actually has more history than this too, but this will be good enough for right now. Not good on the weekly, man. Very ugly on the weekly. There's nothing bullish about this thing as long as you're below this last rejective high right around 57 bucks. Very fucking nasty right there. Or actually it's more like 56.5 bucks. So that'd be kind of my line in the sand for getting bullish on this thing once again. Until that happens, man, I'm gonna imagine the daily's probably got another bounce somewhere around about 34 3/4 or so. This one actually is one of the few ones that has a more obvious ascending triangle going on here too, which is one of the formations that I actually do quite like and does play out pretty damn well. So probably does try for another bounce somewhere around about 35 bucks or so. But I'd be looking for that bounce to get failed. And where would our targets be to the downside after that? I'm gonna imagine it's probably just around this last little low of this consolidation here, about 24 bucks or so. Let's see what the monthly looks like. Yeah, monthly looks toppy as all hell. I wouldn't be surprised to see this thing trade back down to like low 20s over the next 3 to 4 months. Let's see, if you want to look at very low term timeframes like a 4-hour or an hourly, we can do that too. 4 hours just kind of following the general market right now. I don't have anything specific to say about this. I think it's easier to watch Bitcoin right here. We don't necessarily have closing lows just yet, which is actually rather interesting. So Bitcoin Bitcoin does, and most of the other ones, most of the other majors do not. This one will have new closing lows below about 36 bucks. I happen to think you'll probably bounce again somewhere around this region, and then you come back to it over that. But I really don't like these rounded sort of formations right here. That's typically distribution. I think this one's extremely obvious right here. This one a little bit less so. But ultimately, what do we have going on right here? I mean, this is mostly played out. Hidden bearish evidence back in the bearish control zone, even on the 4 hour. Looks to me like it wants some downside, man. If we go over here and look at our trending charts, let's just see what we got going on right now. And we don't even need a long-term history. This is rather interesting. It is bouncing off the bottom side trend band for right now. So I would say I wouldn't necessarily be looking for a full-on like shattering a price action until we actually close below there. And guess where that is? Basically on your prior lows as well, about 36 and a half bucks. You start to close below there. Yeah, I'd be looking for the trending move, but it looks to me like it probably tries for a bounce first, probably alongside Bitcoin, and then we get to hold our breaths to see if this bounce is just that, a bounce, or if this is time to get wrecked and go to fucking Goblin Town, I suppose. Okay, cool. John Mitchell has joined the cave as well. Nice one, man. Welcome, sir. I think I can be here for another 20 minutes or so, 15 to 20 minutes. So I'll check on some comments down here as well. And let's see what else we got, man. Oh, whoops. It looks like, wow. Looks like my comments have not been updated over here. Deplorable exchange. Yeah, there you go. BitCoke on the daily. What the fuck, man? How... what is where did they come up with these names, man? Like, I remember there was an exchange called Dudex. It's like it literally sounds like dude sex. And look, man, gay people are great, no doubt about that, but I wouldn't necessarily call my exchange like heterosex as well. So it just sounds like a fucking weird, just sounds like a weird name, man. It just sounds like a very weird name. All right, what about Tentacle Coin? You're banned, sir. You're banned. He said we may get a sale on Cardano. You may. I mean, again, look for Bitcoin on direction here, but the question is, how big of a sale are you going to get? That's what I'd be thinking right now, man. Check out AMC on the daily and lower time. Oh yeah, we should also check out GameStop too. Let's see how AMC is doing. Last I called, I said that they were probably going to be breaking down further. And what do we have here? Yep, we have it breaking down further. Hey, what do you know? Probably looking for a bounce actually relatively soon here. I would be looking for just a nice pity bounce off the $29.50 level. We've almost already got down there anyways. It actually might even be doing it for right now. I wouldn't be surprised to see a bounce back up somewhere in the mid 40s or so. Probably takes a little bit of time, alongside traditional markets as well. Other than that though, maybe we need to go down to the very low term time frames. Still lower highs. Still not a good formation right there. Let's go check out GameStop. Let's see. Here we go. Okay. Oh, wow. Okay, nice. Yeah, we're actually coming down significantly now. This is good. Well, it's not necessarily good. I know that this is probably not very pleasurable for a lot of people. Probably going to bounce a little bit here as well, but I do think, this is the beginning, or this is starting to get a little bit more advanced into the beginning of the end, in my opinion. I think I'd be called the beginning of the end right here in, about early mid-June. For like an actual drop, and we're slowly seeing it happen. What's the monthly look like? Yeah, monthly's going to take its time. I don't think these things are falling apart just yet. Long term, year and a half out, this one very likely does come back down below 50, maybe even $20. But and same thing for AMC, maybe different numbers here. Let's just go back to it for a second. Yeah, but short term, I'd be looking for it sideways and probably does play to bounce. I don't think they're breaking down like today, man. Unless if you do see traditional marks just shadow down for the time being. Okay, cool. What else do we got, man? What else do we got? Pablo Salas. Hey, what's up, man? Bonjour, mon ami. Can you look at NVIDIA hourly daily? Yes, let's go check it out. NVIDIA, I think last I looked, it was looking pretty damn good. Let's see if it's still looking good. Yeah, we are playing out that bounce from yesterday. Hey, not bad, man. Not bad. I do think this bounce continues into today. Somewhere back up around maybe 780, maybe even $800. Anywhere back around here is fair game. But I am a little bit concerned about this one. This one is starting to look pretty damn toppy. I mean, that was not a good weekly closure last week. So short term up, yes. After that, I'd be mindful of any sort of weakness in this region right here in the upper 700s between about 760 and 790 or so. If you see anything like that, that's going to be your next signal that this thing probably does come down further. Next sort of downside target is going to be about $650. Still good, still a very good chart long term. I mean, the monthly is not bearish either, man. The monthly is not bearish. The monthly says do not be bearish, and if it does come down to like mid 600s, that's an opportunity. So I wouldn't rule this one out just yet. But short term, very likely bounce. I'd be looking for any sort of weakness in there. If it does give you a chance down to 650 or 660 or so, I'd actually quite like that myself. But of course, this is not financial advice, and I don't know if you're if you're long term or not. At the very least, a bounce right there, very likely a tradable bounce in that case too. Doggy coin, please, sir. Yeah, let's go look at doggy coin right now. What is the old doggy coins doing here? Doggy 1430. Oh man! Do we have new lows just yet? 1630.22 prior low, 16100 current low. We have new lows, sirs. We have new lows, sirs and zers, and it has only just begun right now. And oh my fucking lord, I got a treat coming up. I think relatively soon. I can't fucking wait, Mr. Faraz, Mr. Empire. Get goddamn psyched because I think it is. I think it's about to happen, man. I would be looking for a bounce at like 14 or so. Short term. This market ain't done till Bitcoin, but till doggy coin comes down below 10 cents, man. That's my strong opinion right there. The monthly is very, very clear. Very fucking clear. I wouldn't be looking for another monthly bounce till you get back around actually just below 10 cents, somewhere around about 9 cents or so. Will there be a doggy song? Oh, there's gonna be much more than that, Mr. Gohan's Mon. Farsh M says IOU on ASX. Okay, IOU. Great name for a stock. IOU pay. Toppy. Short-term toppy, I'd be looking for this one to come back down to 19 cents. You're looking at a daily and weekly though. I'm on a monthly. Let's adjust this for a second here. Yeah, weekly starting to lose it a bit. We do still technically have an uptrend here. Here is your last, here's your last low, but I do think it's going to come down a little bit more short-term, somewhere right around here at about 19.5 cents or so. What was the other time frame? A daily. We can look at that too. Yeah, short term, this one's moving right now, man. No reason to be bullish on this thing. No longer in this area right here, of which we obviously broke. Now you can use the high side of this consolidation, which is basically the 200 on the daily as well, being governed by the 10 simple and 21. This one very likely moves lower short term, and I'd be looking for a bounce around here. I don't necessarily know if I'd call that a reversal, but a little bit of a bouncy bounce, and then hold your breath, because if this one actually does start to fail there, this is got a lot of downside if that were to fail. But for right now, give it the benefit of the doubt. It actually has had a very, very nice run from May 2020 where we're at right now. Okay, cool. Let's see what else we got. Doggy runs the market now. Degen Nation. I mean, that was like the most played up one, right? That was the one that was getting all the attention from retailers, or normies, as a lot of people like to call them, which is a hilarious thing. Have you ever heard that, Elsa? Normies? Do you know what a normie is? You don't know what a normie? You're a normie. You're a dirty normie, sir. You're normal, not like us fucking weirdo cryptocurrency peoples. And dildo coin, there you go. Link, is it over? Hey, what's up, Shorty Shrew? How you doing, man? Link, yeah, Link. You're a penguin. Okay, yes, you are a penguin. That's exactly right. Yeah, Link is really getting shit on a lot more than the rest of the market here. Definitely relatively weak, and has been for a while now. Unfortunate to see. Very unfortunate to see. But do I think that it's over for Link? I mean, if you're asking if I think that it's going lower, yes, I do think so. Probably back down somewhere between about 11.5 to 12 bucks before the next weekly bounce on this one. Daily free fall. I mean, this is just this one's already on new lows, and not just on new lows. It's on significantly new lows here too. I think the monthly, the monthly's in this. Man, holy shit. Oh my god, this can get really fucking bad. I would not be surprised to see Link back around 3.5, 4 bucks in the next like 4 to 5 months. Wow. Oh my god, man, that is fucking ugly right there. Is there any hopium I can give on this thing? Let's see where I'm gonna have to reach deep into the hopium drawer today. Here's the hopium on this one. I guess I already have it in there. Yeah, we can use the wick high. Let's say we get a Let's say we get a 60% rally back above our July 7th highs right here. That'll look pretty damn good. That'll look pretty damn good for a reversal. But until that happens, man, the path of least resistance is to the downside right here. It's not good. Steve Bob JD says, I lost a bunch of money today on a long. I'm sorry to hear that, man. It was money I could afford to lose, but I still feel crappy. How do you deal with these situations in the past? Sorry that my name is hard to pronounce. Oh, it's all good, man. Steve Bob JD. Gotcha, man. Okay, so let me actually record this one. All right, I'm gonna reread the question. Okay, so the question is, I lost a bunch of money on today holding a long. It was money I could afford to lose, but I still feel crappy. How do you deal with these situations in the past? Sorry that my name is hard to pronounce. Okay, so basically the question comes down to how do you deal with losses in trading? Well, the first question is this a reasonable loss? It is expected in any trading plan to always have losses no matter what, because even if you have an edge that is as close to 100% as possible, there is always going to be the non-zero probability of of course, black swan event, a 10 sigma event, something that is just extremely unlikely, but of course they do happen. We do see this over time. I mean, talk about oil trading into the negative, into the negative amounts. Talk about coronavirus, dump times. Some people would say that is a black swan. Some people would argue it's not. Anyways, my point is that shit happens, right? So first, the question is, was your strategy legitimate? Meaning that did you play out a strategy that you had back tested, that you knew had some sort of statistical advantage in your favor over time by your own definition, mediated by both risk management and position management? If you did, and if you did have tested, and if you have had it, if you have been successful with it before, sorry, I'm really struggling with my words today. But if you have been successful with that strategy before, then that's completely fine. You can feel shitty about a trade, or crappy in your own words, about a losing trade, and that's fine. You can feel bad about it, but your job after that is to not let those current emotions, what you're feeling right now with losing money, influence your next trade or any trades after that. If you can do that, that's completely fine. You can just accept feeling like shit, because it's natural to feel like shit when you lose. I mean, we're set up that way as human beings. The key indication here, the thing that I really want to dial in is that you don't act on that, and that most importantly, your strategy was set to begin with. Now, let's take the opposite example. Maybe you had a strategy that was untested. Maybe you don't have any strategy. Well, that would be no strategy at all by definition, but maybe you had no strategy at all. Maybe you didn't play out your strategy. In that case, what you did was just not viable, and you should feel bad because you are not playing to the advantages of having some sort of edge in the market, and you can expect to feel worse over time, and you should feel worse over time. That's your body telling you you're doing something wrong, and the change needs to be made. If that is not the case, then that's not your problem. You can continue doing what you're doing, but more importantly, it's not that you cannot let your emotions influence your current state. It's just you have to be able to separate the emotion from who you are, right? So your emotions are always going to be fleeting and floating, and in some way they are kind of random and weird, right? You probably notice this in your day-to-day life, that your thoughts that go into your head are they're mostly repetitive, and they mostly kind of bubble up out of nowhere. I mean, that's kind of the whole point of meditation, is you start to realize that your thoughts are not really they're not really consciously designed. It's not that they're not consciously designed. It's not that you're consciously in control of them. Yes, that's the word that I'm looking for. So you can trust in that, again, if and only if you have a tested strategy that you've been going over, that you've been playing out over time. Pew pew. There you go. Oh my God, these comments are great right now. Really, really good stuff. There you go. Nimbo laying it down. Love it, man. Much love, Mr. Nimbo. So again, going back to it right now, how do you deal with feeling crappy? Well, in a more practical sense, assuming that you had the more healthy version of that we spoke about, then you need to have some other hobby, some other means of getting and kind of shaking out your emotions. For myself, that is going to the gym. That is having a meditation practice. I also like reading, although I don't really read that much anymore. I listen to books on Audible, which is, I honestly think it's more or less the same thing. In fact, I think listening to this stuff is a little bit better, but some people are different. Anyways, it calms me down, more importantly, and gets me outside of my own head so that I don't necessarily associate with those emotions, and then I don't make, more importantly, actions on those emotions, which is only going to compound things and make them worse. And you can have many things like that. Sauna is great. I absolutely love the sauna. It doesn't have to be any of the things that I'm talking about, but these typically physical activities will start to disassociate those emotions and separate them between yourself. And what about Elsa? What about you? What would you like to say something, sir? Anyways, my point is that first you need to decide, is that even relevant to you? If you're feeling bad because you had no strategy, well, you should feel bad because you need to make a change. And I'm not saying that to talk down to you. It's just you need to do that. Otherwise, you can't expect anything different. If you did have a strategy, you know the statistics of it, then it's simply a function of not letting these current emotions influence you in the future, because that's only going to get in your way. Obviously, making more potential bad decisions. And then you can deal with them by typically doing some sort of activity. Maybe it's playing a video game. I don't know. Whatever kind of cranks your fucking boat or whatever. What's this? I don't even know what the saying is, man. My point is that first identify that, then you can manage it. And of course, you can feel crappy, as you said, but still play out your strategy as you intend. So that's ideally where you want to get to, is where you can feel an emotion, but you don't associate with it, and it doesn't influence your further decisions, even though you are feeling that way. And, we all feel that way from time to time, of course. I mean, shit happens in life. But going back to the point, need to make sure that first initial thing that we spoke about is in place. If that's not, then you need to go back and rework your strategy, obviously. So I hope that was in some way helpful, and let me know if that was kind of on the tangent that you were looking for. Okay, does Elsa have a sister? She actually has 3. Okay, cool. All right, I am starting to run out a little bit of time here. I'm going to try to get to the last chatties here. Bots for the win says, sir, I pressed Alt-I and I'm reaching Euphoria. There you go, man. Bullish as fuck, baby. We did it last week. It's the trick to always, always, always be right on direction. Just if you don't like what you see, change around your chart, man. Flip around that damn screen and it's all good. Aaron Depp says, love watching your lives as my day closes out in Los Angeles. Oh, wow, man. It must be super late for you over there. Well, shit, man. Good evening to you, sir. Anyways, thoughts on OMI crypto been holding so strong, very real coin with real utility. Okay, NFT space that sells millions a month. Very interesting. NFTs do seem to be holding up relatively well compared to the rest of the market. So you're looking at this, I'm guessing, wrapped OMI token. It's not OMIC Go. I know it's not that. It's probably this thing right here is what I'm guessing. Yeah, very good chart. Very, very good chart. Now, again, this is being charted against Ethereum. This is not the US dollar, but it is obviously an uptrend, and I'd be looking for this trend to continue. This is very good. Very fucking good. I don't know. Is there anything that you wanted me to look at this one specifically? I mean, this is very impressive. There's nothing to be bearish about here as long as you're above 15,300 Beateralls or whatever the fuck the denominating currency is of this. I don't know if it's ready to move like this exact moment or today, but I would be generally looking for continuation. There's not a whole hell of a lot of history here to be going off of, but I do like it. Short term probably does come back down somewhere right around like 17,200 or so. 17,500, anywhere around there is fine, but I would be looking for general long-term continuation, at least based off the daily right here. And as long as you're above this level right here, I don't really see anything that's too concerning about it. It looks buying far away from most other altcoins. But again, this does not mean that the US dollar valuation is going up. It's just versus Ethereum right now. So it's not losing as much, or perhaps holding steady while Ethereum goes down. That would also cause the price to go up, of course. So yeah, man, I would agree. It's probably one of the better charts that we've seen for altcoins today, in fact. Okay, cool. Perry says, Mr. Krown, first of all, you look jacked AF. You noticed? Thanks, man. How many Satoshis do you bench? I actually don't bench ever, man. I only use the cables nowadays. Any thoughts on Algorand on the monthly? Okay, is this symbol Algo? US dollar? Yeah, it is. Okay. On the monthly. All right. Wow. Well, the daily looks pretty bad. Oh, wow, man. Fresh death cross on a break of the current lows. That's very likely to get continuation, man. I'd be looking at levels down into like the mid, maybe low 50-cent region. Again, we kind of have to assume that Bitcoin's going to dump out here too. Nothing to be bullish on this thing as long as it's below the last little high structure, about 91 cents or so. Weekly, free fall. Doesn't look good. Sorry, I'd actually be looking for maybe a short-term bounce somewhere around like low 60s, between about 61 and 62 cent right there. You did ask about the monthly specifically. The monthly, I don't think that we have enough. Yeah, I'm not really populating much right here. I don't know how to analyze the monthly. I don't have any opinion on the monthly, actually, even though that's the only one that you asked for. But maybe we could do very short term as well. Yeah, it looks like it wants to join the rest of the market, man. Not too hot, man. Not too hot. Hippie Johnson actually said it pretty much. He just fucking laid it down right there. No strategy, might as well walk into the casino and bet on red or black. Yeah, I mean that's really what a lot of people are doing with trading. Is it's just a more easy way to play out their gambling habits. And fair enough. I'm not here to tell people how to live, but just understand what you're doing. Like it ain't gonna be good, man. Or usually not gonna be good, man. The house always wins, as they say. All right, I think we're almost near. Okay, I think I can finish out the last few ones here. We need 22K for Lambo. Nice, man. Okay, Evil Quandre says Musk versus Dorsey, July 21st. I bought the dip and doubled down on Bitcoin and Cardano. Do you mean the 21st? Yeah, that is tomorrow. Yeah, that's tomorrow. Hey, all right, fair enough. Maybe turn around Wednesday. I mean, you do see a lot of reversals on Wednesday, just for whatever it's worth. Maybe they announce that Tesla's going to accept Bitcoins again, and it's all good. Maybe we do get a bit of a bear trap again. We do have to outlay conditions for that, but for right now. Watch out below, I think. Okay, all right. One Pump says KCS, please. Is this KuCoin derp? Yeah, it is. It is. Bad. That's just a 4 hour. Let's go to a daily. Daily, I'd be looking for this one to hang a little bit lower, probably somewhere right around just below $8 or so. Weekly ain't all that bad, honestly. The higher term time frames ain't that bad. Well, oh Jesus Christ, man. Holy fuck, that is the wick from hell. Think of all the bullish Anguses impaled on that. Short term down, daily down, but I would be looking for bounces around here. And technically speaking, as long as it does hold the 585 lows, it's kind of hard to hate. It actually looks like, I mean, it's obviously an uptrend right here, but it does look like a bit of potential reaccumulation. Again, as long as I'd really want to see it bounce off of like $7.5. If it can do that, that'd look okay. All right, let's see. Okay, we got Sam. Sam's back. I'd love to hear some stories from your traditional days working on the floor. Can you do one per stream? What kind of stories do you want to hear? Do you want to hear like fights? Do you want to hear about crazy shit going on? I can tell you one story right now. One that I haven't really, or I don't believe I've told, or at least if I have told it, it's been like a couple years ago. So a lot of people always ask about like insider trading and shit like that. And it's nearly impossible to prove like when you're on the floor of the exchange. But I can tell you that there's been some really fucking bizarre situations. I remember one specifically, one day. I believe it was with Facebook. And basically what happened is that a floor broker came into our pit and said, hey, we want to buy like these really fucking far out of the money puts for like better than current market. It's to give an example, is probably, I think Facebook was trading around like $100 at that time. They wanted to buy like the 90 strike puts, and they wanted to buy like way off market to not way off market, but like decently off market to where you're like, okay, this is like very bizarre. And we all sold it to them. We all fucking sold it to them. And like fucking idiots. But of course, we're going to hedge on the other side anyways. And we did, thank fucking God. And then 10 minutes after that, an announcement comes out. I forget what the announcement was, but there was like some sort of, I don't know, court or lawsuit or whatever against Facebook, whatever the fuck it was. And Facebook plummets real fucking fast down around that $90 strike. And those people must have made so much goddamn money because those puts exploded. They fucking exploded during that time. I think pretty much everyone in our pit hedged who took the trade, and by hedge I mean we all bought stock against it, and so we were like, okay, we didn't make all that much from it, but goddamn, man, like if that ain't insider trading, I don't know what the fuck is, man. I'm pretty sure it was Facebook. I believe it was Facebook. It's been a long time now though, man. That's Jesus Christ, man. That's like 7 years ago now. Goddamn. Experience. Boring. Just talking about the hookers. Experience Matter says strong token. Is this a ticker? We can look at it. This is gonna be the last one because I'm running out of time here. Okay, this is a thing. Trades on Kook. Hey, it ain't bad. What the hell? What the fuck? It is strong. Very, very much relatively strong too. Not bad. I don't have anything to say about this, man. This is what a bear trap looks like right here. This is a fucking bear trap by goddamn definition. Wow. Powerful bears. Very powerful bears. Hidden bullish divergence. I think the easy portion of that move certainly played out, but probably do look for continuation back around the high structure right here, like 280, maybe even all the way up to 290. One of the more impressive altcoin charts we've seen today, maybe even the best one. Weekly strong as all hell. Any sort of a weekly close, especially above 250, and I'll be looking for this one to probably retest prior highs, maybe even make new all-time highs coming in the next week or two. Already, sirs and zers. I think that's going to be it. Oh, I see you right there. Is that? No, I can't see. I can't actually see. All right. Yeah, I think it's going to be it for today. Again, Bitcoin. Well, let's do a quick little wrappy-uppy right here. It's not really too much to say about this right now, man. Direction is down. Do I think that there can be bear traps along the way? Yes, I do think so. I need to see today close at least back above $30,000 to keep the Bula hopes alive. Preferably $31,000 would look, decent enough. But until then, man, bounces along the way, probably at about 28.5 and then $27,000 respectively. I would expect a decent bounce at $27,000. very likely a tradable bounce, for a quick scalp or something like that, and then come back to it after that. If you see, let's say, like a quick wick down to 27,000 bucks and then close back above 30, that would look good for a bit of a trap. If it were to happen from a current area right here, I need to see it close back above basically this last little rejective high, basically 31,000 bucks in that case. Until then, direction's down, and we're just kind of seeing the culmination of a lot of things that we especially spoke about in the last, couple weeks to a month here. So enjoy, stay safe. I hope this one serves you well. I'll be back on very likely tomorrow. And with that said, take care and hopefully see you soon.
Write it, code it, name it, tweet it, mine it, stack it, live it, dream it, post it, scan it, charge it, send it, do it, and receive it. Trade it, buy it, sell it, store it, run it, list it, first rename it. Crypto logic. Pump it, hack it, lose it, dump it, sell it, ditch it, fix or pitch it, copy, paste it, nudge it, test it, build it, try it, bend it, fork it, hype it, pump it, dump it, rinse, repeat, but quick relocate.